This session is being recorded by Dr. Harleen Quinzel. Today's patient is named Julian Day, also known as Calendar Man. The patient suffers from OCD, Schizotypal personality disorder, and Antisocial personality disorder, along with an eidetic memory and obsession with dates and holidays. Session 1. So, Julian.
Yes, Dr. Quinzel?
Can you tell me what date it is today?
Today is Wednesday, June 12th, 2024, 8:30. No wait, 8:31 p.m. on the dot.
Very impressive.
Thank you, though your enthusiasm isn't necessary in the slightest. Don't think I didn't notice.
Notice what?
It would seem as if our session is starting just a bit later than the schedule had stated. I was informed we'd be starting no later than 6:30 p.m. Now, look at the time.
Oh, that. Sorry, I was just caught up in a surprise meeting. Victor Zaz made an escape attempt just a few days ago, if you can remember. The madman busted right out of his straitjacket like it was nothing. So there's been some talk the past couple of days about ways to heighten our security.
Fair enough. Nevertheless, try to remain on time for further sessions, please. Tardiness is something I just cannot tolerate.
Duly noted. Now, how are we feeling today?
Well, I'm sad to report that I'm not feeling very good. Not in the slightest. I'd even go as far to say that today has been unsurprisingly dull.
I'm sorry to hear that, Julian. Really, I am.
I'm sure you are.
I'm serious. It gives me no pleasure to think you're unsatisfied. If you could be so kind, how about telling your favorite doctor what would make today a good day for you?
Glad you asked. Let's see. If today was a good day, I'd certainly be outside of this facility's walls for starters. I would then prepare a car and take a drive over to Metropolis. I'd take in the sights, eat some food, go about my day, and to top it all off, I'd probably end the life of an unsuspecting and innocent man as I adorn him in a costume reminiscent of the city's greatest protector. And voila! Happy Superman Day! But then again, the plot could be foiled quite easily if I knew any better. And honestly, I don't quite care much for the big blue Boy Scout. I'd workshop it some more, but do you understand what I'm trying to say, Doctor?
So what I got from your rambling is that a perfect day for you is one in which you simply get to commit crimes as some celebration of a holiday?
More or less. You're correct.
An acquired taste, for sure, but I expected as much. I mean, you used to commit a crime every day, for crying out loud. That type of thing requires passion. A passion you definitely have. Or maybe you're just bored out of your mind?
No boredom comes from my crimes. Trust me on that. You were correct in calling these murders my passion. My way of giving thanks to the world and the history of it all.
Then, I guess with that, we can move on to the real subject I actually wanted to discuss with you today.
And that is?
It's in regards to your extremes. It's no secret that celebrating these holidays is important for you, and there's certainly no shame in that at all. But what's wrong with celebrating in a traditional and less morbid fashion? I mean, it never hurt anybody to just sit around a Christmas tree and open up gifts that didn't contain severed human parts. When celebrating Halloween, it isn't a bad thing to pass around delicious, unpoisoned candy to the rowdy kids in the neighborhood. So, Julian, I just want to hear it from you. What is stopping you?
Well, Dr. Quinzel, those traditions are simply too boring and half-assed nowadays. Plain and simple.
Boring? I wouldn't say they're boring. The classics are classics for a reason. Imagine it's Christmas time. You're sitting around the tree with your family as music blasts from your father's old record player while you take a sip of your favorite hot drink. You each take turns opening up your gifts until it gets to you. You rip the wrapping paper gently and slowly, preserving the surprise for as long as possible. You finally open it to find out you just got this expensive red turtleneck you've been eyeing for a long while. Your mother bought it for you. You find out she's been saving up just for you to have it, and you know she's been struggling financially, but she got it all the same out of love for you. Does that sound boring? I don't think so.
I guess in a sense the traditional way of celebrating is adequate, at least once. But after a while, those holiday memories all begin to blend together, and nothing stands out anymore. The spirit loses its meaning. Do you remember anything memorable on your first Christmas, Dr. Quinzel?
How could I possibly remember my first Christmas?
Perhaps your fourth, maybe your 16th, or maybe 17th. When did the story you described take place, Dr. Quinzel?
What are you talking about?
Your little story. That was certainly one of your own personal Christmases. So, how old were you during those events you so lovingly described?
I was 21 years old during that story.
21st Christmas. 3 years ago now, and that's what sticks in your mind? Seems one event rises above the others. Your centerpiece for all Christmases going forward. But let's be honest with ourselves. No future Christmas is ever going to match the memorability of your 21st. At least not until I come in.
Until you come in?
Yes, my crimes keep the holiday spirit going, and even provide awareness to the ones that have little celebration. For example, can you recall the Christmas of 22?
The Gotham Christmas bombing? Oh yes, no one could possibly forget the amount of damage you did.
Precisely! I carefully crafted so many explosives in advance for the holiday season and embodied my own into Santa and delivered them to the destitute people of Gotham's East End. And it was certainly a Christmas to remember. It may just have been my favorite. Oh, and don't you remember the Christmas of last year, too?
You mean the bodies in boxes incident?
Yes. So many people chopped and hacked up to little bits as I worked away in my own little workshop like a dutiful elf as I planted the goodies in their place.
Who wouldn't be able to forget such a crude crime?
And now do you see the full beauty in my crimes? I make every day something to remember, all out of love for these holidays. Every single one. All holidays will get their day in the spotlight, and all events will be memorialized through my legacy. That is the whole purpose of Calendar Man, after all.
Okay, you want to celebrate these holidays through big events. What about events that bring about positives rather than a negative? Instead of celebrating a holiday through death and murder, you could do charity instead or spread positive awareness on these days. It's not traditional, and it's certainly memorable.
Now that's where you're wrong. No one cares for charity like that. Sure, it's got a hold on you for about 5 seconds and gone. It doesn't stick. Charity isn't big. But tragedy, That will stick itself in a man's mind for years. So many tragedies commemorated into holidays and days of remembrance, all on their own, just for existing. So, as I said before, Calendar Man exists to keep these holidays and events memorable and interesting. That is exactly what I do.
I won't pretend to understand your logic, Julian. But I expected nothing less from a man like you, and I plan to fix that. You're a patient at Arkham now. It is my job to understand what's wrong and to help you through it. I want to shape you into someone normal so you can be integrated into society again and live a happy life with a big, beautiful smile on your face. I won't rest until I can accomplish that.
A happy life? I feel as if I'm being denied a happy life while in your care. I've been here for too long, and my schedule has been ruined. So many days have become stale with my absence. I won't allow for that to stand any longer.
You say that, but I need you to accept things as they are. I know you can. If you need to celebrate anything, celebrate today as the day you accept help and grow. I'll come back tomorrow, and hopefully we can figure out a plan. How about we start at 6:30 like we originally planned? I promise there will be no tardiness from me, just the way you'd want it. Now, I wish you a good night, and
Did you know, on June 12th, master escape artist Harry Houdini had conducted an escape from a straitjacket while suspended 40 feet in the air as the crowd watched? His time, 3 minutes and 29 seconds. The man may not have been stuck in a mental ward, but in a way, I guess I'm paying homage. I really must thank Zaz. Without his outburst, I would have never been able to break free of these confounding shackles. My memory is very impressive, isn't it? Now, let's make this quick.
Dr. Crane, please, shut the door and have a seat. Have you heard any additional news on Dr. Quinzel?
Yes, we made contact just this morning.
And?
She's still in the hospital, though her wounds have healed quite well. Doctors will probably be finished with her later today.
Good. Now, should I be expecting her back at work tomorrow?
I'd say no. Though her body is healed, her mind may need some time to adjust once again. To be attacked by your own patient, the fear it instills is potent. I'd give her 2 days, tops. She's tenacious, but even she knows her limits. She told me so herself.
I see.
I can sense your disappointment.
I knew it was a mistake to let you bring such a weak-minded individual into our facility. Dr. Quinzel is no fit for this type of environment.
Please, Harleen is still relatively new. She may be a naive soul, but she's malleable, like clay. With enough effort, she'll be able to properly adapt to what we want her to do.
Are you sure about this, Dr. Crane? This asylum is ours to control, and these patients are ours to fix. I am in no mood for any deviations of our plans and objectives. I need men with a spirit of steel, willing to do everything it takes, even through the most minor of setbacks.
You know better than anyone that my judgments have never steered you wrong. And as I said before, she is tenacious.
Fine. I'll allow for her absence. But I expect her back on her feet as early as possible. When she does return, I need her to crack down on these patients. Furthermore, I'd like for you to take on a chunk of her schedule in her absence. Is that a problem?
I accept the work. After all, there's never been a problem with more patients.
Certainly. Now, you may go about your duties and put the fear of God into those patients, as you do. I will try to do the same myself.
Of course. I'll come to you with more info on Dr. Quinzel if I deem it important.
I'm sure you will.
Goodbye, Dr. Strange.